Welcome to our Classroom Management is Coming Up Roses with Bloomz webinar. My name is Amy Davis. I am an I3 and math teacher at Lakeview Centennial High School. Moderating today is Andrea Blankenship. Andrea is an I3 and Human Growth and Development teacher at Saxe High School. As a high school teacher, my students each have an iPad. I incorporate various websites and apps into my instruction. As a math teacher, my students also have access to TI Inspire calculators. Andrea's students have access to their one-to-one iPads as well as a cart. This webinar is over a learning management system called Bloomz. I will be showing you how to manage behavior, communicate with parents, and much more through this application. A lot of people are under the impression that this system is just for elementary school teachers or after-school care child groups. That could not be further from the truth. Others feel that this is just another learning management system, similar to Edmodo. While there are similarities with these other systems, Bloomz focuses on the parent-teacher relationship aspect. Bloomz helps the teachers and the parents communicate and collaborate with each other, which in turn helps the students to be more successful. This webinar will show teachers how to create their classes in Bloomz, invite parents, and begin the process of communication and collaboration. So ISTE Standard 3, Model Digital Age Work and Learning, states that the teachers need to be able to communicate relevant information and ideas effectively to students, parents, and peers using a variety of digital age media and formats. So using Bloomz will allow us to communicate through messaging or through a news feed similar to Twitter or Facebook. Bloomz is our one-stop shop for teachers. It helps teachers to communicate with parents and students via messaging and an online portfolio. You can use Bloomz as an app on your iPad or phone, or you can use Bloomz through the internet on their website, bloomz.net. So how do you use Bloomz? Well, first you need to create an account. So using either the app or the website, you will create an account, as you see here in the screenshot. And you have to make sure that you create your account as a teacher. It will also give you the option to create it as a student or as a parent. Once you have created your account, you will verify your email and then complete the guided tour and play in your demo class to get a feel for the different Bloomz features. So now it's time to create our class. I know it's kind of grayed out in the picture, but in this left corner over here, you see where we can add a class or a group. So if you click there, then you'll get the option to either join a class or group using an access code, and that's more for parents who don't have access to email, or to create a new class or group. So we're going to use the plus sign right here. And when we click that, we get our Create Class display options. You can choose your school, create a class name, make sure you select that you are the teacher, and then you can choose any or all of these class options. Behavior management will allow you to give badges or awards for behavior. Student portfolios will help you to keep track of the student's work, be able to message parents. And then your parents can communicate with each other. So if you don't want your parents to communicate together, you can turn this off. But it would be helpful if you were trying to get chaperones for field trips so they can communicate together. So once you've selected everything you want for your class, make sure you hit save. But creating your class is only part of this initial setup. Now you need to add students to your course. You do this by selecting your class from the list on the left. So I chose Calculus A3. Now you're going to click on Manage. Once you're in your members category. When we click Manage, we're going to see the default settings for our members. So at this default, this is where you can invite administrators or parents if you have their emails and phone numbers. In order to add our students, though, we're going to go to the students in this blue menu. And we can add students two ways. One way is one student's name at a time. That is helpful if you need to add a student that was added to your class in the middle of the semester, or we can do the paste multiple names, which allows us to add an entire class at once. So let's click paste multiple names. So this is what it looks like when we have multiple names. You can copy all of your names from Skyward and paste them in here. Make sure you hit add when you're done. You need one name, one full name, or whatever the student goes by on each line. So then we add them. And we will see a list of our students' names right here. So they each have their own little avatar. If you realize that it didn't copy someone's name, you need to add someone, you can add another name at the bottom. Finished, click done, and then your class is populated. So your class options that you see right below your blue menu are feed, behavior, attendance, and timeline. So feed is similar to your news feed that you would see on Facebook or on Twitter. Behavior is one of our more elementary features on Bloomz, but it's still a good way to keep behavior records. And since you will have your iPad as you're teaching usually, so one-stop shop, it's all right there. If we look at attendance, you can take the attendance. If everyone's present, you can mark them all present. Uncheck them if, let's say, Drew is absent. I would uncheck. Even though we have Skyward, it is good to use the attendance feature here because it provides us with a backup for our records. Yeah. What if, heaven forbid, Skyward crashes? We would still have records here in Bloomz. But using the attendance part is not necessary. We go to the timelines feature. This is where we can post pictures and videos of our student work, and we can use it like it's an electronic portfolio. So when you click on a student's name, you will get to see options of portfolio and awards. So let's click on Ahmad's name. Your awards can be both positive and negative, and they can relate to student performance in class, grades, or even behavior. Notice at the top, underneath Ahmad's avatar, we can message his parents. So let's just say that Ahmad decided he wanted to doodle on his classwork assignment one day instead of actually doing the assignment. Once we turn our assignment in, I can take a picture of his assignment. I can annotate on it or provide a description of Ahmad was supposed to be doing this for 30 minutes. Doodling, I went to correct multiple times, but he continued to doodle. Once you've typed out or annotated whatever message you want for the parents, you can immediately send it to his parents through the message feature. Now, we don't just have to communicate with parents if it's negative. We could also send something to Ahmad's parents if he was doing an amazing job. So let's say that we had a class presentation and he did fabulous when he was presenting. If you've been recording it for your records so you have examples of good presentations, then you could send that video to the parents and say, look at Ahmad, he did a great job. Or you can take a picture of his completed assignment. Maybe it has a 100 on it, or he just showed all of his work and he has a fabulous work ethic or work process going. So you could show that and tell the parents, I'm just so proud of him. He was doing this. He was helping others in class. Just use it to brag. And of course, you would add all of these using the plus button. Now, in order to communicate with our parents, we do need to invite them. So if we have their email or their phone numbers, their cell phone numbers, we can add them ourselves, and the parents will immediately start to get the messages. They will already get our feedback. And if you go to the student profile in Skyward, you should see an email or a phone number that the parent has provided. If there is not a phone number or email, then you can create a class code. At the bottom, you see this last option. And this will allow the parents to go in and join the class online or send a text message if they just didn't provide their phone. Parents do not need an account. So all they need is either email or phone number. So another feature is the calendar. So using the calendar, you can add various events. As you see, I told my students that they had an assignment due yesterday, since I saw them yesterday. If we wanted to add another event, we would go to this plus event button. And we can add either an event of any kind or a parent-teacher conference, which would be helpful when we have our extended work days later this month. So once you've created your event or hit create event, you can change the event type. You go to this drop-down menu at the top. So we have event that can be anything. So if I wanted to tell them that they have homework due, I could use that as an event. If I wanted to say, hey, parents, don't forget we have no school, I could use it this way. Sky is the limit on the event itself. Pick up and drop off is, for the most part, more of the elementary feature, but you could still send a reminder. Don't forget that December 15th is a half day. Pickup is at this time if you wanted to. The reminders, which is what I had already in my calendar. So I reminded my students they had an assignment due. The no school day, which is what I'm creating here, since there's no school on Friday or Monday. Birthday is, again, one of the more elementary features, but if you wanted to celebrate class birthdays, you could remind students that it was someone's birthday. Field trip, which would be helpful. I'm trying to get a field trip planned for my calculus students, so I could send them a reminder about it. And you can also invite your chaperones, so they would also get that message. And then, of course, play date, which is more elementary version again. So I've selected reminder on this, or the no school day, sorry. So send the reminder. So once you pick whatever kind of event you have, go ahead and make sure you add your class for that calendar. So I have my Calculus A3 class in here. Pick a start day and time, and then an end day and time. If you want it to repeat or not, your choice. If you want reminders to go through it or not. And then if this was a field trip or another event, like a field day, I could invite the parents that I have to come in as a chaperone or as a volunteer to help. But for this one, I don't need to do that. So once I've created it, I'm going to hit save. And as soon as I hit save, I get this little pop-up menu that says, do you want to add the event to the Calculus A3 calendar? And then you get a choice. Notify all members, which will send a little reminder to all of your students and parents that are in there, as well as the administrators if they're in there. Or if you do not notify, it'll just go to the calendar, but they won't get that alert. So I always select notify. And then when you're done, you will see your event is in your calendar now. So I scrolled down so you could see Friday through Monday where it says no school. All right. The message feature, we've already talked a little bit about. When you're in the portfolio, you can message, or on their timeline, which is their electronic portfolio. You can also message from your chat window off to the side. So your chat window is on the right side of your app and the website. In order to chat, you can click the chat hyperlink right there if you need to instantly start talking to the parents. Or you can go to add message, and you can send to one parent or multiple parents. If you want to send a quick reminder, hey, don't forget, we got a school at 12:30, send it through multiple parents. If you need to send direct communication to a mod's parents, for instance, you could just add message and directly send it to them. When a parent messages you, you will have a notification right here, and you can just check it and respond as soon as you are able. All right, so that was a little bit of Bloomz. Do we have any questions? So, are there any questions? Any questions? Are there any questions? I'm going to answer. Okay, if there are no questions, Our chat window is not working currently. So for the CPE credit, you need to send an email to, hold on, digitallearning@garlandisd.net and let them know that you watched the Bloomz webinar and then today's date. Thank you for watching, and make sure that you follow us on Twitter at MissAddAVI and at AG5. Great. And while you're going to that digital learning email to send your credit, make sure you also check out our new digital learning website. It is your one-stop shop for all digital resources for Garland ISD.